project. Well, why don't we just get into it? So, I want to talk about a couple of things this week that, again, I think every week, oh man, we're really going to get into this. And then I look at next week, and then I look at the following week, and then I look at the following week, and it just gets better and better. And so the first thing that I really want to talk about are we've talked about lies versus truth, and I've just written a couple things down, like what are lies that you believe and what is the truth. And so when we look at life, we can see patterns. We can see patterns that come from other people, patterns that we ourselves continue to function in. And what I want to say to you is that your area of your greatest insecurity, your greatest struggle, is literally the place where you are destined for the most greatness. Because if you really, really, really start walking in who you were totally meant to be, you will absolutely change the world. You will affect those people around you, and you will do great and mighty things. But at the very beginning of our existence, we come under attack in every possible way in life. And our lives are constantly wanting to be stolen, to be killed, to be destroyed, that we might never fully walk in who we were meant to be. And I know we keep talking about this, but what I want you to really ponder this week are those lies. And there's light and there's darkness, there's good and there's evil. And there's a war going on for your soul. Plain and simple. You might believe that, you might not believe that, but I believe that to be absolutely true. And so the war for my life was the belief that I was, quite frankly, a bitch. I just believed for most of my life I was just a bitch. I was impatient. I wasn't as nice as everybody else. I wasn't born to be gracious. And that's just the way I was. I'm really intense. I'm really driven. I'm really passionate. But it got distorted very early on in life. And I just continued to believe that that's who I was. And in my believing those things, in my believing what people had said, I didn't love people very well. And so as I look back on the lies of my life, they were robbed. I was robbed of passion because I thought that I was just mean. And so my real passion was to really love people. And so my journey has been digging in and the realization that, you know what, I am not that. Yes, I'm driven. Yes, I'm passionate. Yes, I'm intense. Yes, I speak truth. And sometimes people don't want to hear it because it gets them. It hits a place that makes us a little bit uncomfortable. And so if I continue to believe that I just wasn't a very loving person, well, I just never would have loved people. And so in as much as I am driven and passionate and intense and a speaker of truth, that doesn't mean that I love people any less. And so the lie of my life was that's what it was. And it came from the outside constantly. People's comments and people's observations. And so I want to challenge you to go back and to look at the patterns of lies. What do they sound like? Because they all sound a lot the same. If you really stopped to think about these things, you'll realize, oh my goodness, they all kind of sounded the same. My dad called me chubby, my mom called me chubby, then I dated a boy that called me chubby, and then my brother called me chubby, and then that's what I learned. That was not my story. Mine was just that in my drivenness, I just wasn't very nice. And I wasn't very nice. And so that's what I came to believe. And so I would really, really challenge you to go and find the lies. Find the lies, and then in the next video, I'm going to talk about what do you do with them. And so take the time, go and address them, write them down. There will be patterns. There might be 10 lies, but you'll see a pattern. And so the lies are there to keep you from fully living. Look at them and realize how they've destroyed relationships, how they've destroyed marriages, how they've been passed on to your children, how they were passed on from your parents to you, and look at the lies, because they tend to have a similar pattern, and we respond to them in a certain way. And we have to stop believing those things, but we also have to combat the lies with truth. And so take this week and really, really think about what are the lies, and be done with believing them, because we're uncovering a lot of things, a lot of things. And so I want you to very specifically begin to dig in to what those things are, and then look at what the opposite of that is. What is the opposite of me being a bitch? Well, it's me being loving. And the opposite of me being loving is not being nice, and not being nice. And so we can fall back into those things, but we also can have absolute victory over them. And so in the next segment, I will talk about that. But get honest with yourself and begin to write down, even just, and you might not even see them as lies, but go look at them as words that people have spoken over you, like almost curses, word curses that have been spoken over you, identities that you have been marked with, things that you have been told that you are that aren't necessarily great. And so it doesn't feel very good, and it's not actually really very fun, but it's also a very, very freeing experience. So I know you can do it. You've got it in you. Let's have a great week, and let's continue to grow.